Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Chris.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brett. Along with us again is producer Joe.
Joe.
Came back for round 2.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Thanks for coming back, Joe.
There was a special in his honor.
Yeah, appreciate you showing up. You guys want me to take the intro on this one?
You know what?
Sure.
All right.
My bad. Go nuts.
Thanks, buddy. Today's episode, we're actually going to be reflecting on us in 2023 year. That's what we're going to be looking at. It's a 2023 year. We're all having a beer today.
We are.
So let's run through
Does
that.
it make sense?
Which we have already opened up.
We are not the craft dinner connoisseurs, the craft beer connoisseurs.
It's true.
So
I mean, I could, craft
actually,
dinner.
yeah,
I could
if
have a
you
little
want to have
KD.
some craft dinner made up for us, that'd be great.
No. I'll start. How about I start here?
Please.
So you're going to see a theme kind of run through this a little bit. You're good, Joe. I got you. I'll say mine. I'll say Joe's because it's kind
Makes
of
sense.
out here. You'll understand the beer that we're having as we kind of get through the episode. Sorry to keep you awake there, Chris. This is what we do. A regular episode.
Oh, is
we
that
do producer
and a producer?
yeah.
And a producer.
So
Okay.
just stop.
Yeah,
there.
you're learning this more in 2024 when you're back more full time.
Stop yawning. So the beer that I'm actually having is Boxcar Juicy IPA, Railway City Brewing. And I actually thank you.
Oh, who got that for you? Yeah.
Let me just finish the sentence. I thank you and your wife actually for giving this to me for a housewarming gift.
You're
'cause
welcome.
I did pretty well all 6 of them in like a day. I
You
think.
did.
Yes, yeah, you were doing a
I
pretty
was,
good job. Yeah,
I was
say that,
having a good time, which isn't going to be reflecting my stats, but I do thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It was actually really nice to kind of walk through some of the Railway City beers. So that's what I am going to be drinking today. It's my second one. Because you did give the first one to me. The next is Opportunity Knocks Twice, Broken Rail, and that's for producer Joe. So producer Joe on Broken Rail and myself on Railway City. Let's go, Brett, Chris.
I don't know who was knocking, but the first time was Donnie, second time was nice. That's why he answered.
Okay, so we're going to
kidding.
go Brett, and then we're going to go Chris.
Okay, so I'm drinking a beer that says one thing I can't do right now, which is run. It's called Run Forest Run, and it's from Wood Brothers, which is one of my top brews. I'm going to in a little bit. It is a IPA because obviously Wood Brothers makes some phenomenal IPAs.
They do.
Chris, yourself.
I am having the Kolsch from Anderson Craft Ales, and that's what I'm having.
Actually, is. I see it right now.
That's
Yes.
great. So, Chris, why don't you give us a little bit of synopsis of the podcast in 2023, and we'll go into some of the stats. Maybe I can take it over there.
Yeah, so in 2023, pretty similar to 2022, COVID restrictions were easing a little bit, so that gave us the opportunity to visit more breweries. I believe there was a bachelor party that you guys attended in Baltimore and Philadelphia,
Yes.
which I was not able to attend.
Yes, you had
Brett, do you
some
wanna talk about that?
things that were happening, which
Yes.
totally makes sense.
Sure. Brett, you want to hit some information on that?
Absolutely. So we did attend a bachelor party. Myself and Tyler, made the great decision of flying.
We did fly.
I heard. But listening as a listener, I was interested to hear that Tyler, who bragged earlier about never having a flight delayed, had a flight canceled on this trip.
So it was actually the best thing that has ever happened to me because we paid, I think, $650, I think, for that flight that was delayed. But because of the new rules that came into place, we each got $1,000 to pay for the flight. So every single one of us that flew had our flight paid for, as well as probably about half of the expenses for the bachelor party.
Wow.
Paid for by the trusty Air Canada. So I never had it delayed. Glad that it got delayed. I got to hang out with great guys. We had a good time. We went to actually another pub, restaurant pub.
Went all the way to Virginia.
Went to Virginia.
Yeah.
Fancy.
And we all got compensated the extra $1,000. So
Wow.
it was, I think it was the best bachelor party I've ever been to because I paid, I think, $200 or $300 overall.
Yeah, it was way cheaper than yours. That's for
100%
sure.
it was. 100% it was.
No, I do agree. I remember this kind of I shouldn't say conversation, but let's just say a period of like 45 minutes on the Sunday morning where I woke up, had some breakfast, I came back, and I was like, damn it, our flight's canceled. What are we going to do now? We're going to have to stay in Baltimore for another night. What's going on?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, I was kind of like stressed a little bit. And I don't get stressed out too much, which is very true. And everybody can probably
you're
admit
pretty
that,
chill.
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what's going on? And Tyler's like, yeah, it'll be fine. We'll worry about it later, blah, blah.
Which is not a very Tyler thing to do.
Right.
But because I read
Yeah.
the terms and conditions of the agreement, I knew he'd be fine.
In all fairness, I did say 2 weeks before in a group chat saying it might get canceled. Because it was a Sunday of a long weekend in Canada. Because it was a civic holiday weekend. So
And there was a flight that was notoriously canceled.
Notoriously
but I
canceled.
said, here's what the terms say.
Exactly.
We spend an extra day. We have the day off.
Bingo.
We're
Right?
fine.
I had the whole week off just to prepare. But anyway, besides the point is that I was very stressed out. And I remember going up to producer Joe's room. And his father came in and I was like, oh, yeah, our flight got canceled. Like, we're screwed. And he's just like,
Yep.
it'll be what it'll be. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, I got a text message saying, we're diverted and we have to go to Washington to fly out tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? Let's make the best of this.
And we did. I slept in a chair.
Yes. Because the best part is that we were able to go to the ball game, Baltimore versus the Mets. Orioles won, I believe it was 2-0, 1-0.
2-1?
2-1.
I think, yeah.
And then I drove, because I drove the whole weekend for our group, to Washington or Virginia, whatever it was. And then we were going to have some beers that producer Joe wasn't even able to have.
Yeah. No, it was a good
And
time.
you definitely were not able to have. So
And we saved money.
yeah, exactly.
Like, I almost feel like I made money off that
Yes.
bachelor. It was amazing.
So whoever has a bachelor party next in terms of our friend group, I know we're all of us are married now, but whoever in our friend groups has another bachelor party.
I'm finding out
I'm
what
gonna fly.
flights. Whatever flights are canceled,
If
I'm
it's,
taking
from,
that
it's
flight.
from Toronto to London, I'm flying.
Very true. So that was the bachelor party.
So
Good
that
time
was
zone.
4 minutes on one bullet point.
You know me, 4 minutes.
On a bullet point.
Yep. Okay. So also we, as a podcast, have kind of discussed with some breweries about potential collaborations. As you've seen, nothing's really happened in 2023, but maybe stay tuned for 2024 for some things that could happen. Of course, we did do the collaboration with JobSite back in 2022, but we're looking to expand on that.
I think 2024 is going to be the year of the podcast. 2023 was a little bit busy. We're kind of doing a bit of a transition.
We've all had things going on.
Yeah,
It's
I
just simple
think
as that.
2024 is we can really focus up here. And we'll be able to kind of come up with some collaborations, some events, reach out to some breweries, reach out to us. And we've seen a bit of a transition period in the craft beer industry as a
Yes,
whole.
for sure.
So we're looking to kind of fill some gaps there for sure. Now, before we kind of continue on with our years in review, maybe we should talk about the podcast specific here. So I pulled some statistics as I do. We have a number here for countries listened. Without looking at the script, do you guys have an idea of what number we have been listening for 2023?
I mean, I've already seen this
Okay,
number
Brett?
by looking.
Brett,
so.
have you looked?
I'll throw out a number. It's my favorite number. I'll go with 14.
Okay.
I know you're not going to go with your favorite number because that'd be disgusting for a podcast.
My favorite number is 29.
I thought it was 1. But okay.
Yeah, so we've been listened to in 27 different countries in 2023. Top countries. This might
God, I hope it's Canada. I hope it's
this might surprise you. Maybe after number 3, and I don't know if it is. So we'll hear your feedback on it.
Maybe not number 5, but I'll
Yeah, number 1 is Canada.
Not a shock
Not a
at
shocker.
all.
Number 2 is United States.
Also, not really a shock.
Number 3, Germany. I think
that one.
I
That
get
one
that.
is
a little bit.
shock,
Germany,
yeah.
Belgium area. I would have thought.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the Netherlands. Thoughts?
Yeah.
They like their beer there.
They do,
Yes.
and they
So-
like us apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, number 5 might be a surprise, but I can also justify it. Number 5 is the Dominican Republic. Thoughts?
So what do you think I was doing the third week of February? Marketing the podcast in Dominican.
Attaboy. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Hey, I brought back beers from the Dominican for all of you guys.
Yes.
I literally got held in the Hamilton airport for 2 hours because we were over our liquid limit just to bring you guys beers back from the Dominican.
And we appreciate that. And that is a craft beer connoisseur. But I think
At 2 a.m. in the morning. But
the Dominican Republic kind of piece is it's a frequent location for Canadians to travel to.
For sure.
So it does make sense that if anybody's sitting on the beach and you want to listen to the soft sounds of Brett, Chris, or myself, you can go ahead and do that.
And I will be venturing to the Dominican in the third week of February this year in 2024. So if you want to...
Why do we not get these invites?
I don't know.
You guys have
Maybe
to work.
1 year.
Maybe. We've talked about craft beer connoisseurs trip.
I'm going to the Punta Cana Brewery again.
That does not help us.
Yeah, we are still here.
Yeah. I'm thinking selfishly, but
We
who cares?
got to come up with a plan.
I'll FaceTime you guys from there.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, if you don't want to
Appreciate
go,
it.
just let us know. Chris and I will plan a trip like that. We've done it before. We'll do it again.
Yeah, I've heard.
The sources in which our downloads come from. Number 1 is Apple Podcasts, 35% of them. And number 2 is Spotify at 24%.
Which I'm not a...
Makes sense.
We've had a conversation on Apple versus Android before. What interests me is how many of the Apple users are actually using Spotify to listen to their podcasts versus Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
My
I know
wife
you-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people
I
use
use Spotify to
on
listen to my
there.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So,
There you go.
yeah, just...
All right. Without looking, unless you've already looked, the top episodes listened to.
You know, you need to give us this warning ahead of time so we
Oh.
can't look.
That's fair. I still think even if Brett read it, he still wouldn't understand.
Is it the episode that I came back for the first time this season?
God, no.
So our top episodes listened to, I'm going to do this in reverse
It's definitely
order.
number 4, though.
I'll do this in reverse
Thanks.
order. Number 3 was Keep On Turning, Steel Wheel Brewery. You guys remember that one?
I do.
I do, because you brought the beers. And then what happened was the producer at the time and Chris were supposed to go to Steel Wheel.
And they never did.
And they were supposed to get $1 million.
But
And they never did.
I did
Shocker.
give the invitation, and I was denied.
Yes, you were. Sad but true.
You know, here's what I'll do. In 2024.
No.
No, hey.
You don't got
put
that
this,
money.
I will put this on. No, I'm not sending $1 million. I will give, look at me, $50 to each person if they meet at a brewery. Doesn't matter.
A brewery.
A brewery.
Okay.
Just the two of them.
Who? You said...
Producer
Okay.
and Chris.
Okay, because I was going to say...
At a brewery.
The producer from the Steel Wheel episode.
Correct, yes.
Yes, okay.
And Chris at a brewery. It could be 3 minutes from Chris's house or 3 hours from Chris's house. I
That's
don't care.
torture for both of them.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I will gladly give them.
Producers just type it in the WhatsApp group right now. Like, hey, listen, pal.
And just so you know, it's going to be $49.99 each. I'm not going to,
Yeah, it doesn't round up.
I don't round up. So $49.99 each to both of you, e-transfer. If they go to a brewery, just the two of them together.
There you go.
So that story kind of ties in with the number 2 brewery, and I'll get to that in a second.
Right. Yeah. So number 2 is River Dancing, which is the River Run Brewing. Do you want to take this now?
Yeah, so the day that I proposed to that, well, suggested...
Did you get on one knee and do this?
Suggested to that producer that we go to Steel Wheel, he said no. And I said, okay, well, Tyler, you want to go to River Run and pick up beers for the podcast?
And what'd I say?
You said yes?
Yeah.
Do you want to know something, Tyler? You were his second choice.
That's okay. And you know what?
Well, hey, between hanging out with Tyler and $1 million, I'll take the $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and we
You were
had,
disappointed, weren't you? You were crying in tears. Like, I guess I'll go
we had
with
some good
Tyler.
beers.
We
had a good
did
drive.
have some good
We
beers,
got
yeah.
Nutbuster. I believe there.
Yeah, the
As well.
Nutbuster.
And they've come up with some good stuff lately, too. I don't know if you checked out.
Yeah, would love to do a collab with River
Maybe
Run.
the one time, maybe somebody should give me $50. I ever go to frickin' Sarnia to have a beer.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And number 1, the third one mentioned here, is Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, which was Sawdust City Brewing, was our top episode listened to, which is no surprise. We would love to do a collab with Sawdust. We would take the drive up north.
Yep. I got a cottage. We can stay at 15 minutes away from there.
Yeah,
Easily.
we'd love to do that. Sawdust, great beers, great stouts. As we
Yeah,
kinda
Chelsea
talked
was
about
great
on
to
others.
work with.
Chelsea was
Yep.
fantastic to work with. Yeah.
And they're probably the biggest brewery that we featured on in 2023, at
Because we
least.
feature some smaller ones and some newer ones.
Yep.
This has been a
cetera.
good year for smaller breweries and like promoting
Yeah.
them for sure. I'm going to stop talking for a bit if somebody else wants to take the lead.
No,
on this
keep going.
one.
But I will. It's fine.
Yeah, go ahead. Brett.
Because I'm a big year in review guy. Okay? You've kind of reviewed the podcast in general, but I'm more the beers. Like, how many beers have we had?
You're more selfish, like about yourself, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So we've done this in previous years, and obviously Untappd provides a year in review. So firstly, we're going to provide some Untappd 2022 stats they provided. Okay. So the average beer lover checked in 56 times in 2023. I don't know where the discrepancy is here. It's 2022, 2023. We're going to go with 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
So the average beer lover checked in 56 times in 2023. I don't know where 2022 came from. I can't read, apparently. In 2023, there were 102 million check-ins. I don't know if that's up or down from 2022. There's 11.1 million beer lovers. I appreciate all of them.
Wow.
And we're three of them.
Yeah.
Well, four of them,
Four,
including Joe. Yeah.
And
Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 146.2 million toasts.
Oh, lots of toasts.
Okay. So, in terms of the style leaderboard, I'll take 1 through 4, including, and then people can jump in.
So brave of you.
I know, right? So, number 1, obviously, IPA.
Yeah. Not a surprise.
That's probably been on the top of the leaderboard for however many years. Number 2 is Stout,
Okay.
which I'm a little surprised about.
Yeah.
But people are getting more into the high-end stouts, right?
Yes.
Number 3, Light Lager.
Also, not really a surprise.
Yeah, because that's kind of been having more of a push into is the lighter alcohol content, but still being able to have.
And Untappd used to have a podcast as well, and
Yes.
they were pushing last year's the year of the lager.
Yes, they were.
The podcast has failed, and yet we still
But the
remain.
lager has not.
But we've still remained, and I think that's very important. It's like the very specific podcast geared towards an app that is beer based has not been able to succeed, but we have.
We're
I feel
promoting Untappd more than they are.
I feel like we have not DM'd them. We should probably do that just to figure it out.
Okay.
But number 4 is sours. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Big sour
Just
guy.
me,
over there.
all right? All right, okay.
Yeah, big sour guy.
Yeah. Nice
yeah.
to see you in the top 5.
Yes, absolutely. Tyler, you want to take number 5?
Yeah, so top number 5 here is the American Ale. 6 is the Belgian Strong Ale. 7, Pilsner. Chris, take us 8 through 10.
8 is the light hybrid beer. I'll admit, I don't know what that is.
Because I know there's like styles that they have on Untappd. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I feel like I haven't had a light hybrid beer. Could you imagine having like a 2% sour?
Is that like a micro stout or a micro IPA? I mean, you know how they have those?
Fair enough, yeah. I've had a few of those. Like Left Field's done like a couple micro RPAs.
Yeah.
Collective Arts has done those.
Yeah.
I feel, that's kind of like in that category, I'm pretty sure.
It's an interesting style.
Yes.
9 is the Belgian and French ale. And then number 10 is the German wheat and rye beer.
I don't think I've ever had a Belgian and French ale combined or collabed. You could say that.
Yeah.
Together, or a German wheat and rye beer. I think that's fine.
Interesting.
Yes.
But, stats don't lie, right?
Yeah. Let's be selfish and talk about us now. Jesus. Chris, go
Yeah.
ahead.
So they go through in your, year in review. They have a bunch of different categories. They talk about it. So we're going to go through one by one, kind of talk about our different statistics, if you will. So the number one, or the first one, I guess, is the number of check-ins. Is that where we want to start?
Yeah, let's start there.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Let me get there.
So I can go first. And
Sure,
If
sure,
you're going to
sure,
kind
sure.
of pull it up because I did a little bit of background work on this one. So in 2023, I've had 243 check-ins, which is actually a decrease of 194 from the year previous.
Wow.
I think one thing we need to kind of caveat this with is that 2023 was a busy year individually as well as for the podcast. And that's really why we want to focus on 2024 with collabs and going out and doing live podcast recordings and events, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, if anybody is interested in doing any of those things, we would love for you to reach out to us on our DMs.
I do also think that part of that is I don't think the amount of beers consumed has went down. It's just you found stuff that you enjoy that you've had more of this year. And also there might be a few beer kitties involved with that. Myself, I have actually gone down again, 153 from last year. So in 2022, I had 768 check-ins, and this year I had 615. So I'm down 153.
There you go. Chris, what do you got?
So I have gone down 159. So I went down from 350 in 2022 to 191 in 2023. And producer Joe went from 644 last year to 529, which is a decrease of 115.
There you go.
You know what they say? Still winner, Kenyo.
Yeah. Okay. Now we want. Do you want to do like check-ins by day? Like, what was the most that you drank on which day?
Yeah, for sure.
Winner Kenyon, why don't you start us off?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, that's
I mean,
okay.
it was
You're the winner,
One
Danielle.
second. I don't actually. You want to start something?
No,
Yeah.
Brett, please.
No.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I hear you lipping at me, but I mean, winner Kenyon,
I'm just saying I don't have it like in front of me right now. I said if you could go ahead and do that, so I get it up for myself.
Not winner Kenyon anymore.
Yeah, apparently not.
I'll go first. Saturday was the most check-ins that I had, which makes more sense because as we grew as professionals and general life kind of took over in 2023, but we'll normalize that in 2024. Let's go to Chris on this one. Chris, why don't you do yourself and producer?
Yeah, so Joe, also Saturday, 195 on Saturday.
Nice.
And I had a tie.
Wow.
Which is really weird because so Saturday and Sunday were both tied with 50.
Big weekend guy.
Yeah.
Big weekend guy.
I feel like I don't drink as many beers on Sunday, but
The facts don't lie.
You just don't like going to work Monday, is what.
something common about me and Joe, really low check-ins on Mondays. I had 3, he had 8.
Tuesday was my worst.
Yeah.
Mr.
Monday
Gagnon?
was my worst, actually.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't have it screenshotted, but I had to go into the app and do it.
Neither does Chris
Yeah,
and Joe, but
we're-
go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just saying, like, I do. Saturday, obviously, was my most day.
Obviously.
160. And then my second day was Sunday at 115.
Okay.
The average rating. Chris, do you have that handy for the two of you? Maybe you guys start this time.
I do. So I had a 3.56 out of 5, and Joe had a 3.44.
So before you start then, sorry.
Just already started.
No, I meant like continue on with that.
Yes.
So yours was what?
3.56.
And what's your traditional average before going into this year? Do you remember roughly?
Oh boy, let me see.
About
3.65.
5, yeah. Okay, so you're a little lower.
Down a little bit.
little
Yep.
lower. And then same thing kind of producer Joe then.
Yeah, Joe had a 3.44.
Very good. Brett, are you ready, Mr. Gagnon?
Yes, I am. So my average rating was 3.63 this year. And my average rating normally throughout Untappd is 3.68. So I'm, a little lower than this year.
Perfect. So I was 3.61, and I think it was the closest then, really, with 3.62 is my normal average. So slight little change there.
Yes. A little bit.
Now, the one thing that's really important to everybody here is what do we check in first? Because there's certain things like there's your 500th beer, your 1000th check-in, your 15, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But also, the very first beer that you checked in of the year is also kind of very monumental. Brett, are you ready to tell us what
so my
you
first
had?
check-in was the Heavy Horse Farmhouse Ale from Shakespeare.
Chris, do you have yours up there or no?
I do.
Okay.
My first one was the IPA from Black Swan, and I believe that was from the podcast.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
And then Joe's was the E-Ba Gum from Broken Rail. Sorry,
Okay. E-Ba Gum.
E-Ba Gum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bahumbug.
Good English. Good English.
Bahumbug. So yeah, mine was Mosaic Four Ways, which is Collective Arts.
Correct.
All right. The beers. The best.
I feel like this is going to be very across the board, very local in terms of the same beer that's been rated a 5.
All right. Well, let's.
Or
how
same
about-
brewery. I shouldn't say same beer. Same brewery.
Give us the top 5 that you had, Brett, in 2023.
So I had only 5 5s in 2023.
Attaboy.
Thank you.
Good job. Attaboy.
And actually, I don't think I've rated a 5 in a little bit. Probably since I think
Last
October.
week, I think.
No, October.
You know, it's funny. I think you go ahead and you peer pressure has really kind of attacked him a bit, right?
But I feel as though across the board, every beer that we had from Treehouse was rated very high.
Yes.
I had one that was a 5, and it was very hazy. It was one of the ones I didn't have on the podcast, but beside the point. I used to rate it at 5. One of the ones that I had also was the Caramel Apple Fandango from Toppling Goliath, which is in Colorado. Iowa. States are confusing. It was a caramel apple sour, delightful. The next one I had was a banana cream pie sour from Willworks, which was in Colorado. That's why I got it confused. They rated it 5. If you guys remember early on in the year, the Blood Brewery series that they released, there was 12 different beers, 12 different collabs. This one was the Bourbon Barrel Aged Banafee, and I rated it 5. And the last one was a bougie, because I'm very bougie when it comes to beers, apparently, rating it a 5.
Yeah.
From Rushrach. And it was the first ever smoothie sour stout I'd ever had. It was on tap there. I got the last draft pour of it, and it was delightful. Think of a Viva La Stout soured smoothie.
There you go. Chris, you and then Joe.
All right. So I also had a lot of non-local beers, if you will, as my top 5. So number 1 was a beer called House Money from Vitamin C Brewing, which is actually from Virginia. And it was a 4.75. So I had no 5s.
I love the fact that Tyler and I went to Virginia, but you had a 5 from Virginia.
Yes, I
That's
got
funny.
it. I got it
Just
when
tell
I
me.
was in Hilton Head.
That makes sense, yes.
And then my second was Moment of Clarity from Treehouse, 4.5. Next was Mirage from Brasseur du Bas, Canada in Quebec, and that was 4.5.
I got to know, to be exact.
Yeah, and then 2 more 4.5s from Equilibrium Brewing. The first one was Fluctuation, and the other one was MC Squared. And that's a brewery in New York, which, again, I got in Hilton Head.
Very nice, very nice.
And then Joe, I believe you mentioned this, Very Hazy from Treehouse was a 5 for him. Dark and Grizzly from Crimson Badger Brewing was also a 5. From Other Half, he had the FLX 4th Anniversary Triple IPA, which was a 4.75. Pillow Top from Froth Brewing, which was a 4.75. And a gelato sour with raspberry and lavender from Fine Balance, which was a 4.75.
Very good. My 5, 1.5 last year was Very Green, again, Treehouse Brewing Company. We got 3 4.75s. The first one was Mango Cart, which we actually had while we were at the bachelor party. Orange Creamsicle Sour from Diamondback Brewing Co. And then the Crick, which was the Lindemans, which is actually one which I was kind of finding before when I was working at a place of employment. And then 4.5, which was previously mentioned, I believe, by you, Chris, which was the Mirage from Brasseur du Bas, Canada. So that was a 4.5. So that runs at our top 5. Now, the regrettable part of this is where we move on to our friends who we drank the most with. Let's go with Joe first, then myself, and then we'll go Brett, and then we'll go Chris.
So Joe's top 2 friends were a couple of people who are not involved in the podcast. So I don't know if we want to mention them or not.
First names.
First one was Cal.
Okay,
yeah.
And
Makes
second
sense.
one was
Carlos.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
And then Tyler, you came in 3rd.
Hey, top 3, we take that.
Brett, you came in 4th. And then our friend Trevor came in 5th.
Wow.
And I was not in the top 5.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so my number 1, we don't have to mention. I think it's fair.
It might be me.
It regrettably was you.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Trevor, my buddy Chad from baseball, my buddy Mike from baseball, and my buddy Dan.
From not baseball.
From not baseball, but let me tell you, we had some laughs on a bachelor party due to Brett not knowing how to take a photo. It will forever live in my head and my heart. So,
But at least I knew how to drive.
Dan, you're the top 5. Attaboy.
For myself, this is Sabby, if you will, but my top friend of my wife. Yeah.
I don't think that counts.
No. It counts. It speaks to
it's
Mr.
right there.
Mr. Winter Gagnon over here.
Right there.
So 132 check-ins with your wife. How many check-ins does she even have?
I don't know the exact amount.
2?
But it's not
6?
132.
Yeah. That's so cute. You're such a good man.
We want to eliminate here? That's fine.
No. She's number 1.
Number 2, you, Tyler.
Basically your wife.
Yeah. Number 3, my friend Chad, which I should say our friend Chad.
Yeah.
He's just
So here's your third?
He's been on the podcast twice.
So here's your third?
Yep.
He's my third as well.
Yeah. Number 4, Trevor. And number 5, because I'm a nice guy, is I tag the craft beer connoisseurs in every Untappd post that I have in terms of when we release a main episode. So literally, it's Chris.
So everybody,
But not really Chris.
Everybody that listens to Craft Beer Connoisseurs is your number 5.
Great job.
Yes.
So Tyler, you're my number 1.
Shocker. That's like 3 years running.
And then we have a
Probably going to need a 4th next year.
tie for second between you, Brett, and again, our friend Chad.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I've checked in with.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
So what we're saying here is you got to meet Trevor and Dan and Mike.
Yeah, I'm surprised Trevor's not on there, though.
Yeah, well, I'm not a big, tag
fan.
person, but
Trevor fan, that makes sense,
you
yeah.
remember I had 191 check-ins. A lot of those
sure.
were by myself. So
Sorry to hear, buddy.
So what we're saying here is your wife needs Untappd.
absolutely not.
Yeah. Let's do our number 1 badge. We don't have to go through all of them. Let's do our number 1 badge. I will start. My number 1 badge of 2023 was I Believe in IPA. I earned 179 badges in 2023, which was actually 180 less than the previous year. But I Believe in IPA is 87 in terms of level, and I'll probably max that out in 2024.
Yep. My top badge, Haze for Days. I'm at level 100. I don't think I can go any higher.
Nope.
You cannot.
Yeah, I've earned 338 badges in 2023, which is 173 less than last year.
So my number 1 was Riding Steady, which is at level 89, and I earned 161 badges, which is 170 less than last year.
Wow.
And then Joe, his top was Brewery Pioneer, which is a level 100 maxed out, and he earned 339 badges, which is 115 less than last year.
Yes, so we're going to go into styles now. Myself, I am down 6 from last year. In 2022, I had 117 styles. In 2023, I had 111.
Very good. For myself, I'm down 13. I went from 96 to 83. Now, Brett, one thing you failed to mention, what was the most styled beer that you drank?
So it was a New England IPA.
Very good.
I'm pretty sure the listeners probably could guess that, but that's fine.
Sure. And mine's the sour fruited. Again, no surprise for me.
All right, so I had 67 styles, which was down 22 from last year's 89. And my number 1 was the New England IPA. Joe had 103 styles, which was down only 4 from last year's 107.
I like ego.
And his number 1 was also New England IPA.
There you go.
Who doesn't like a New England IPA? All right, so we're going to go to breweries. In terms of top beers that we've had from breweries, I'll start. So Froth, which is in Buffalo, I had 17. Probably in a time frame that should not be mentioned. Number 2 is Blood Brothers. I had 14 because I had the whole series from what they released in early January or late January. Number 3 is Broken Rail. I had 13 of their beers from in St. Mary's. Number 4 was Third Moon, and then number 5 was Wood Brothers. Again, as I mentioned, I'm having that one today. One of the ones that I have not checked in, so it's going to be 11 soon. So it's going to go to number 4, which is the Run Forest Run.
And how many unique breweries did you drink from?
I drank from 247 unique breweries, which is 34 less than last year.
There you go.
Which I was surprised about, actually.
Good job. Chris, do you want to go from there?
Sure. I drank from 92 unique breweries, which is 16 less than last year. Top breweries were, in order, Railway City, Anderson Craft Ales, Moon River, which is in Savannah, Georgia, Stillfields, and Left Field. And then Joe drank from 186 unique breweries, which is 3 more than last year. Wow, more. And his top 5 were Quails, Broken Rail, Other Half, Blood Brothers, and Left Field.
I'm pretty sure Quails happened the same amount of time that Froth happened for me. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I drank from 119 unique breweries, 28 less than the previous year. Number 1 was Railway City, which we spent a lot of time there, actually. You gave me some very important news there, which was very nice. Number 2 is Left Field Brewery, 3 Collective Arts, 4 Refined Fool, and 5 Bellwoods. that's a great top 5, actually. I like that 5.
Yeah.
Locations, the last but not least, I visited 34 unique venues, which was actually 10 from the previous year. Number 1 was Craft Beer Market in Toronto, Beer & Co. 2, Mercer 3, Refined Fool 4, and then 5 to Brew. A lot of these I'm seeing, Chris, actually, I think we did a tour to most of these together, actually.
Did we?
Oh,
A couple of them.
You guys went to Mercer for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Refined Fool, we were there together. Yeah.
Craft Beer Market? No. Beer & Co.? No. DeBro? No. So that's 2
All right,
of 5.
Mr. Winter Gagnon, go ahead.
So I visited 88 unique venues.
All right, that's great. Chris, what
Which
do
is
you
8
got?
less than last year.
Go
And
ahead.
what were they?
Well, I mean, I was at Froth for a lot. The Point Clark Lighthouse. Because I have it's not a venue. It's a venue.
Oh, my God.
job
Were you
site.
there with your wife a lot?
I was, and my in-laws. A job site, obviously. Mitchell, the fairgrounds, because my sister was right there. And then the Pork Tap Room Buffalo, which is the brewery. I don't know if you look back on Instagram, but there's a video of me actually pouring our own beer in Buffalo, or my own beer in Buffalo. So I feel as though eventually next year in 2024, we have to go.
I think you have so far the saddest location check-ins of the group. Now, let's see if we can beat that.
Yeah, most
Chris, what do you
check-ins,
got?
saddest check-ins. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so I visited 18 unique venues, which is 12 less than last year. So number 1 was Moon River, then Anderson, then Hilton Head Brewing Company, then Imperial City, which we were there together, Tyler, and then Mascot.
And I assume
Do you
Moon River
have
was
Mitchell
in,
Fairground?
I do not.
I
No.
assume the one that you mentioned was in South Carolina, right?
Well, Hilton Head was in South
I
Carolina,
know that
and then
one.
Moon
There's
River
2.
is in Georgia.
Georgia, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And then producer Joe, his phone has just locked up on me, so I'm going to need his face. There we go.
Nobody's ever
thanks,
said
Joe.
that ever.
So his number 1, and maybe why we got him on the last main episode, is Fogorig Brewing. That's his number 1 venue.
There it
What
is.
a shocker.
We tied that one in together, didn't we?
Then Quails, then a place called 16 Ton, then Beach Tree Craft Beer, and then Froth Brewing. And I will mention he visited 88 unique venues, which is 11 more than last year.
He did venture out a little bit more. I'll give him that.
All right. 2023, that's a wrap. 2024, we look forward to. Again, we're always interested in doing collabs and live events and drinking new and impressive beers. We're going to wrap up season 4, obviously, next year and hopefully start season 5. I wouldn't see why not. And, we got one a little hand gesture.
No, I was saying we'll probably be less busy in 2024 than we will in 2023.
Yeah, I
Right?
think we'll be able to put a little bit more time and effort in the podcast because, again, we appreciate everybody that's listened. We talked about the statistics of how many countries we had. We didn't talk about how many listeners we had, but certainly it's been a good year for us too. So we appreciate every single one of you for listening. That's going to be it for today's producer special reflection on 2023.
Thank you again for listening. Keep on listening every other Thursday as the Craft Beer Connoisseurs release a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for these unique producer specials.
And remember to drink responsibly and do not drink and drive.
So from all of us and producer Joe, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris.
And together, we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.